discovery by accident. You are going to discover a remarkable place and remarkable people out there.
Oh, that's just beautiful.
No, you're going to love
Oh my
these young people.
God.
They have to be a cut above, because half of us who live in this valley are 29 years of age or younger. It couldn't have anything to do with the weather.
Good picture coming up now. When Noah's done, he'll hold this up and you'll see how gravity opens the salmon up to facilitate the drying. Totally natural method, no chemical, no unnatural substitute. It's all done in the good air and the smoke. Beautifully done. Well, now, do you go right into the smoke first or what?
Well, you never like to place a wet or a dripping salmon right into the smokehouse because it might mold. So I'm just going to put it on this air drying rack until it forms a sheen or a glaze. Then we'll put it into the smokehouse for about 2 weeks until it's fully dehydrated, weighs less than a pound, and looks a little bit like this.
Wow, there's no weight to that at all. So a trapper could really load that in the dog sled.
Turn this into food for our dogs, and then I'll also tell you a little bit about fish camp life.
All right, now we're excited about that. You'll learn about the contraption in the water that's used to catch the salmon, how it's utilized. Nothing is thrown away in these cultures. Everything had a use. It's remarkable. And you brought down a big animal, same thing. Food, clothing, shelter, tools, lashings, pharmacy. The big animals, still very important.
Ooh, moose! Moose! Yes!
On the right-hand side,
That's not a moose. That is not a
of
moose.
a very adaptable animal that the scientists call Rangifer tyrannus.
That's a reindeer.
The subarctic deer.
That's
Now,
embarrassing.
These
That is
guys are
not
the
a moose.
domesticated model. They are officially reindeer, but they
So not
stand
caribou.
in for meat and so on. And our reindeer agriculture is pretty popular here in the north, and particularly a little bit south of here. But the reindeer were imported from Scandinavia in the late 1800s. A Presbyterian missionary was concerned about people having enough to eat up in Nome, and so they brought in some reindeer. And they are not really related directly to our wild caribou, but we're going to see them again. 750,000 caribou live in Alaska right now. 750,000 in 32 different herds, and they migrate all over the place and are still very important to us. So thanks, guys, for bringing them out.
And then I sort of started moving.
He looks tired from putting on that show for us.
Yeah.
They would then plant the spear into the ground at a steep angle like this. And when the moose came charging, it would rear out to stomp the hunter and be forced to impale itself on the tip of the spear. Then all our brave hunter had to do was skillfully and quickly roll out from underneath that very heavy falling animal.
And we do that by going on long walks out in the woods. And the older dogs, of course, run way out in front, and the puppies chase after them. And after the puppies have been out there for a while, and the old dogs, we call the older dogs back who run to us because they're so well trained, and the puppies chase them back. And so the key to this whole thing working is that you repeat that process, consistently again and again, until by associating with what the older dogs are doing, the younger dogs are starting to learn a couple valuable skills. Now, the first skill they learn is simply to listen for my voice, which is very important when we start teaching them commands, because with dog teams, all commands are verbal. The teams are simply too long to communicate with the lead dogs any other way. But the second thing they learn, and by far this is the most important, they learn to always follow the example those older dogs are setting, because those are the ones that ultimately will bring us all safely home, and they need that skill when they go in harness for the first time.
Well, now the fact that they've been together. You're going to see him in the notch between the vent farm and the small cabin, and you will see him go from our right to our left, right through that opening. And all the dogs in the yard are going to pick me next time. I'm going to go. And he's off. All right. Now, what we're going to see, eventually, he's going around the house that he and Susan built for the family. We'll see him on that back road. See that straight line across the lake. He's going to run down there, turn around, come back that way, and have a dramatic finish here once again by the vent farm. And all those dogs will be wide open. I would guess close to 20 miles an hour. Will tell us. And they will be going for it when they bust out of the trees there on the far side. If you can't see, watch TV, because we're going to have them on the screen. If you can't see them, particularly on the radio.
Along on the far side of the lake, we're going about 20 miles an hour, which is remarkable when you consider the bull or nine weigh over 600 pounds. And these guys are making almost effortless. Even though we're not an engine, we're attaining these speeds. And the reason is because the younger dogs have learned from the older dogs the value of teamwork. And that, of course, means that they've been watching those older guys, and they know they have to match them stride for stride to us. For us to succeed on these long runs, we go on a 1,000-mile marathon like that, Interrupted Yukon Quest, we go over 100 miles a day. I have to give a command that's on the way back.
Okay, now he ran up on that turn, and he hollered, haw. Haw is left. G is right, like driving mules on the farm, but unlike driving mules, there are no reins on their backs, no bits in their teeth. He's got nothing to control those dogs other than this trust and be trusted relationship that starts when they're puppies. And of course, whoa is stop and hike are all right is the key to start. Now, Sergeant Preston used to say mushroom huskies, and the old timers did because the French trappers used to say marche. That was their term for starting the dogs, and we anglicized it.
This is my favorite part of every run because it shows me that the dogs understand the strategy it takes to win a marathon. They're serving a little bit of energy on the outbound flank, but they're using it now. We've been athletes, but he might be in front of us. It's a great team to tell you more how to get better.
Susan was out on the frozen Yukon River one February morning, training for the identified. Granite was up front, the run was going fine. She gave him a routine G right turn command, and he veered hard left. He'd never done that before. She hollered louder, G Granite. He went hard left again. This time she let him pull them off the river on the left-hand side, and the minute they cleared, the ice on the right, where they would have been, collapsed. And they would have driven right into that and died if the human had pushed the gear. So here's David going right around the barn, coming up for the big finish, and these dogs don't look like they're even breathing. This early in the year, that's a good sign. And good luck with the bull card this morning. All right. Yeah, that's done. All right. Well done, Matt. Well done.
Well, thank you very much. But these guys are the ones that do the hard work, so after every run, every dog gets a pat on the head, and then, of course, just like us, everybody loves to play.
Hey, everybody in the pool. After gym class, well, gosh, it is sure fun to see these guys in action. And I know people have heard a lot about mushing and one thing and another. Will we have an opportunity to ask any questions we might have later?
Oh, absolutely. I'm coming down, and we're going to be bringing some dogs with us so you can get up close and pet them if you like. It's a great opportunity for us to share our lifestyle and what we do and what we are passionate about. So if you've got any questions at that point, we'd be happy to answer them.
Well, of course, there's another feature of being at the village. When we think about the wonderful story, I tried to do it justice coming down, but Susan and Brandon and their relationship. And I know that you guys were able to write this down toward the end of her life, and we have it in book form. And I want to tell the folks about it, but would you be available, if anybody's interested, to come in and maybe dedicate a book to a special library or somebody?
Well, absolutely. You know, one of the things that's really meant the most to me and my family over the last many years is when we've been able to share the story of Susan and Granite with other families. What really means a lot is how much kids will always identify with Granite. And I think it's because he was a little puppy that nobody believed in, but because of Susan's faith in him, and I remember those two working so hard together until eventually he became the greatest lead dog in history. So if any of you would like me to personalize a copy, be it yourselves, children, grandchildren, or maybe even a library, it'd be my privilege to do it.
Well, it's our privilege to have been here when the story was being written and hear it from you, and I'm going to tell the folks a little about the book. But for now, thanks, Dave, for your hospitality and the whole crew. Thank your crew, and thank you, dogs.
Well, thank you so much for stopping by, and we'll see you downstream soon.
Thank you, thank you. Here he comes. Left-hand side. Again, if you can't see, watch TV. Just remember that. If you can't see, watch TV. And there's not a lick of wind on the surface of the river this morning. And Steve is just going to nail it in a 2-4 alpha. Look at this. Up he goes. 150 horsepower light moving engine. Lets him right up. Now, again, he's going to fly a circle around this. And then that. 178 commencement. There are about 750,000 of us in the state. 1 in 78 are licensed to fly. And it's critical because if Grandma lives up in the village and she's got no road to her house, that's the only way you get there. And to underscore that, one morning, the fellow that you saw fly in the film clip, he was fast asleep. His phone rang. It was the hospital. They said, Bill, can you fly up to the Yukon River? We just got a radio call. There's a young mother in labor. So he put his parka on over his fuzzy slippers. It was 42 below zero, warmed up the airplane, flew up to the village. 2 people got in up there. And then when they landed out here, 3 people got out. One of them brand new. Now, what do you put on that kid's birth certificate? Altitude, longitude, and latitude. I think actually at the courthouse it says airborne. We were busy at the time. There you go. Now, watch carefully on the TV. Evan's got a great shot as he looks like he's forgotten us and is flying away, but he's up here on the starboard point, crossing the 12 o'clock position. He's going to fall out of the sky sideways. This is called a slip turn. When you have a tight area, trees or ridges or anything, you fall out of the sky sideways. He looks down, he sees where he wants to land, and he slowly decelerates at the same time. A slip turn, these pilots all practice. Now my favorite part is coming up. Watch the control as he actually goes into a modified stall and simply floats down onto the surface of the river, but not too hard, not too soft, just right. And we'll watch and see if we see air under the floats. Because he can't see the surface now. The nose is too high. Look at that. One, oh, he's showing off. One and then the other. And that is always fun to see, particularly when there's no wind. So I think probably Steve is at the controls. We'll see who is. He's going to slow it down into the Yukon and out into the Bering Sea. And they will live out there another 3 to 4 years, get fat and oily and delicious, and then head home. I mean, last night a 30-pound male chum salmon could have swum out of the salt water and entered